I got the walk, there's a longboard walk. I know the talk, the longboard talk.
All right. A lot of technical hitches tonight again. So let's get the show underway. Welcome everybody to the season opener for the Australian Oz Longboarding podcast. Wherever you are around Australia, welcome. Glad to have you with us. Sorry about that huge delay again tonight. Got some real technical issues that will be sorted out during the week so that we'll be on time next week. With us tonight, we've got the two Maddies. We've got Cookie and Chono. We got Weeksy in the background. He can hear us, but he can't really say anything. So that could be a blessing in disguise. Anyway, I'll start off tonight's show. We're going to be talking about what we've been doing over the last 3 months over summer and that. And we'll start off with Cookie. He's come on board as a regular panel member going forward. You'll remember him from his show last year. He's from Cronulla, #1 Sharkies fan, but he actually left the Shire and went with his good lady and baby for a bit of a surf trip. He's heading back down to Cronulla now, stopping off at beautiful Byron Bay. So Cookie, welcome tonight. Can you tell us what the surf's like there and what you've been doing the last week or so?
Yeah, thanks for having us back on. I really enjoyed speaking to you guys last year, and yeah, it's been a big summer. I think the last time I spoke to you guys, I was actually on my way to watch a fight with Paul Gallen and Mark Hunt. And the funny thing, someone from the northern suburbs who I think might have been at the Avalon RSL came back to Cronulla RSL with COVID. I'm at the Cronulla RSL and I actually missed Christmas because I needed to take 2 weeks in isolation. So I didn't get much of a Christmas and New Year because I was stuck with the family in isolation for 2 weeks.
Wow, it wasn't me, I swear.
Right. Northern beaches, you know how they are.
That was the biggest worry because we all know how they are.
Yeah, well, we won't talk about the fight. Mark Hunt just went soft on Gallen because, yeah, it should have been a different result all round. Too bad.
Hey, we've got a statue that we're slowly building here for Paul Gallen in Cronulla Mall, I think.
Unreal. I'm all for it, Cookie. Go Gallen.
He's a bit of a hero down here, so yeah.
Actually, I can't wait till he has a go at Sonny Bill, but I don't know if Sonny will hop into the ring. I think he's got too many brains now.
Yeah.
And okay, and Chono, what have you been doing the last week or two? What's the surf like down your way? And just a quick wrap up of the last week, and then we'll get on to talking about what has been going on around the place.
I was at the Byron Surf Fest last weekend, the weekend before last. We had some fun longboard waves at Watergoes, very unsuspecting. We had a summer easterly fetch sort of pattern with wind swell and wind. It wasn't looking great, but conditions really did turn on and it was fantastic. Lots of longboarding. I was up there for the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday and drove home. So kind of got my sort of summer fix because similar to Cookie with COVID, Northern Beach was on a lockdown. I couldn't really get away over Chrissy and New Year's. So it was nice to get up there. I got a win in the Old Mal and made the semis and the Opens. Did a bit of commentary here and there, and it was good to see everyone and see surf culture reunited. Surprisingly, I actually was in the paddle race, which is a big giant party wave on the way in. So everyone gets one wave, you catch it all the way in, and then you got to run up the beach, sort of up some stairs, and you win some money. And couldn't believe it. I actually I got the wave. It was the only one on it. I was the only one left still on the wave coming in. I'm like, you beauty, how good's this? I had a small board and I had a 9.0. Some of the guys had gliders as well. And then as I'm cruising the wave in, I see this kid, Jabin, 15. So you've got Watergoes Beach spread out, and he's paddled in at the Cape where there was a lot of sand. The kid had good brains. He decided to sprint up the beach because he knew it was going to be faster on his legs than he would be cruising a small little longboard wave. But I got a third in the paddle race. I was quite chuffed. That was really surprising.
Any prize money for third or?
No prize money, just a couple of beers. It was all right. But yeah, I was kind of stoked on that. But yeah, then last weekend, back down in Sydney, we had a huge south swell. So it went from waist-high longboard waves at Watergoes to triple overhead bombs. And I was stoked. I've been able to ride nearly every board in my quiver this last 2 weeks. And yeah, waves are back down to a small sort of summery conditions now, but we're moving into that autumn, sort of those early morning offshores are starting to stay a little longer. And yeah, it's going to be an amazing year. I think all the sand's in the right places down here. People are stoked. A lot of people surfing, which, you know, it's crowded, but the vibe is that everyone's seems to be really happy in the water, which is great. And I must add, since that film Girls Can't Surf's been released, I don't know if it's just that or coincidental, but I've seen so many groups of women going surfing, which is always great to see them in the lineup. Heaps. Today in Manly I surfed, it must have been 75% women to men. A really big statistic, and all ages. We had teenagers and mums and what could be grandmas, but obviously you're not going to guess and ask. But yeah, I think it's really nice vibe here in Sydney at the moment.
Yeah, man, we've had that happening up here for quite a while now. You know, we did that show middle of last year with the Surf Witches.
Yep.
And they were only a group of girls that, you know, formed 2 years ago, just 4 of them. Now there's about 1,700 of them.
Wow.
Yeah, sort of. And although a lot of them are fairly new to surfing, they're all out there having a lot of fun. And they're right into it. You know, these girls there that are now going out of their way to learn how to do coaching properly. Some of them are gone shaping and that. There's a lot of girls very switched on when it comes to doing promoting and that. And yeah, they're showing a lot of respect in the water, those girls. So we're glad to have them on board. And it certainly looks, you know, out in the water, the vibe is good. Yeah, it's really, you know, they've made the guys pull their heads in a fair bit. So,
well, guys like yourself and Cookie and I, we grew up with I guess it was just like a staunch hierarchy, and you didn't have it any other way. You just followed that hierarchy. You didn't get waves until you were a certain age, and when you or a certain age or a certain level, and then you had to earn that respect. But obviously these days it's a little bit more of a free-for-all, and that hierarchy doesn't really exist. More so because you can't just go and belt someone who drops in on you, you know, and cameras and iPhones and all that stuff. But, you know, I feel like whenever there's a lady in the surf, well, from my perspective, I feel like there's a lot of respect. But obviously when you do watch the film, you do realize the hardships that a lot of the front runners and a lot of the surfers in the past have had to, you know, sort of put up with in order to, you know, forge that relationship with surfing that women now have. So all credit to them, and it's a great film. And we welcome Nathan.
Yeah.
Hey guys, how you going?
Good
to
mate.
be back.
So you've just joined us. Just bring you up to speed. Weeksy's listening in. He can't actually talk tonight. His microphone's not working. We've just been doing a little bit of an intro because we started 30 minutes late. So can you tell us what it's been like down your way and what you've been up to?
Yeah, been pretty busy. Obviously with COVID sort of disintegrating a little bit down here for the moment. Been back at work commentating a lot of events with Surf Victoria. Been surf coaching at the pool quite a bit as well. And then, yeah, getting some waves myself, just logging a lot of the points around here. There's been a lot of really nice swells. It's blown in a lot of sand. So some of the point breaks around here have been really good. And yeah, footy season's back soon. Well, I've just got back from footy training as well. So yeah, it's been nice to get back into that after having over a year off due to the whole COVID thing.
Yeah,
What's
mate.
footy for you, Nathan?
AFL.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I can see you've been really busy, Nathan. You haven't had time to go to the hairdresser and get your hair done.
No, it's I'm going a bit Napoleon Dynamite. There's a lot going on.
Well, mate, hey, we all had hair like that once, but guess what? All right. So we got Weeksy, his views there. Can you talk at the moment, Weeksy? Nothing coming through? No, okay. Yeah, we've had this pretty time-consuming technical hitch. It will be sorted for next week. But over in WA, I know Weeksy's had some good waves at Lancel in the last few days. We've been putting photos up and explaining why he hasn't been working. He missed out on going down to Yellingup for the state titles only, 2 weeks ago. He's got some photos of what they look like.
Oh, gee.
Down at Yellingup. From some of the photos I've seen, some of the sets coming through would have been well overhead. Yeah, I'd be calling them solid 8 to 10 foot. They still sent the over 70s out there to do their thing. So we should be having more contests at Yellingup.
It's amazing. Those photos are so good. We haven't had longboard surf like that in Vico for a while.
Yeah, something you can get your teeth into. Oh, there we are. Someone's going looking for some crayfish.
That's epic.
Yeah, that's. I did see some of the photos from over there. It's unreal to see such quality waves in a longboard event. That's for sure. Some of the West Oz surfers over at the Byron comp last week put in a really beautiful show of surfing, and I'm sure they were more of the traditional kind of surfers. But Jack Medlin was one of the surfers who usually does quite well in the States, and he was ripping up there at Byron. None of them made it through their heats, I don't think, but very impressive surfers. Wow, look at this. Wow.
Did Luca Doble take out the women's, Maddie? Did I see
Luca
that?
took out the junior women's, yeah.
It's good. Former guest.
What's that, sorry, Nathan?
I'm saying former guest of the show.
Yeah, you're right. Yep. And who else was there that was been a guest?
Well, Kira was there, was she?
Yeah, Kira was there surfing. Yeah. We had.
Yeah, she's a touch footy tonight. She'll be maybe joining us later. So.
Wow, look at this footage. I'll share screen and show you guys some of the one of the sets that I caught the other day on my 9.0. But far out, not in a contest, that's for sure. Gee, I'm just getting used to this Zoom stuff. Everything seems to be going back to normal, and we're not needing to have to use Zoom. Like for a lot of my work meetings, I was using Zoom for a long time, but not so much now.
Weeksy was just saying thanks to Terry Tratham for the yelling at photos as well. His mic's not working, but big thanks to Terry for those photos. Oh, they're epic. That's
Okay, so some more photos coming up from.
Can you guys see that?
Yep. So where's that?
So, it's unidentified spot, north or south of Sydney. There's only those surfers behind me, the only ones out there, and no spectators. Bit of a walk in, no car spot, no showers, and you can't really check it either. And that's a 9.0 single fin that I ride, but it's bigger. It's obviously very flat, but you know what? A lot of the guys are on 7 and 8 footers out there, and the 9.0 just strokes in, and I can, as long as I've got that line, I'm like Cookie knows about this, surfing waves around his zone. Sometimes the longboard can be more practical if you get the right line and you slice through it. Weeksy knows all about that as well. You get that extra foot or two of length than your other surfers in the water, and you can choose lines that you can access. And I guess that's why we all ride longboards, right? That speed and that glide that gives a different feeling. You're going fast before you even stand up, and then you stand up, bottom turn, just, you know, it's all, it doesn't matter if it's a 1 foot or 10 footer, it's that long rail that gives us that, you know, that exhilaration. And yeah, awesome. Great to see those photos, Weeksy. I was dying to show you mine as well. So if you're ever over here, Weeksy, if that spot turns on, you'll get the call up. He can't hear us at the moment.
Right. Yeah. Thumbs up from him. But yeah, no, it's good to be able to still get out there in the bigger swells on a longboard. I think back when I was into it all the time, surfing Kira, and Kira really only holds 8 foot before it gets just too messy. And that on a 9 foot board, you feel good. You paddle into the wave early, you're dropping down the face of it, and it's that much water running up it. The board's a little bit wider, a little bit slower getting down the face, and you sort of going, oh, I should be at the bottom. By the time you get to the bottom, you're going, well, I should be over there. But you just still pull in and you get the ride of your life. That's the beauty of still being able to surf bigger waves on longboards, but you do need to have boards that are made for those conditions.
Yeah. Nathan, do you get out bells very often when it's solid on your longboard?
A little bit. I've been, especially lately, like I was saying, I've been out at the points quite a bit, but a few times over summer I got out at bells, but we haven't had many big swells. In previous years I've had a few cracks when it's been been a little bit bigger. It is definitely interesting, and like I haven't seen a whole lot of longboarders surf it when it's been really big, as opposed to like probably what you guys would have seen when the Aussies were there a while ago. But yeah, I'd be interested to get out in the juice out there when it's a bit bigger, when the next swell comes around. Just
get a board glassed a little heavier, and just keep it for your 6 foot plus days. And that's for anyone listening out there. I think longboards, well, I mean, they obviously had no choice in the 60s, and some of the most iconic video footage of the Bruce Brown films is the Waimea and Sunset footage of those guys just going crazy on 10, 11, 12 foot guns. Obviously it's a little bit excessive surfing 30 feet bottomless Waimea Bay on a elephant gun, but yeah, I'm not encouraging people to go surf double overhead bells on a longboard, but I certainly think if you have the right approach and the right weighted surfboard, you could certainly score some good ones, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey Sean, I had a question to ask you about the New Zealand challenge. What's going on there? Has been
okay? We're still a little bit hush hush.
Oh, sorry.
It is out there. We've been working for really about 2 years on it, but certainly the last 7 months working pretty hard on getting this new event up and happening, with a leg here on the Gold Coast and a leg in New Zealand. All made for television. That's about as far as I can go with it at this stage. But keep your eyes and ears open. It'll be something that's really different. Going to be a lot of fun, and soon, we're really relying on that Trans-Tasman bubble to open up so that we can get over there and get into some clean green waves and that, and get into some good seafood and a hungy or two.
Yeah, hopefully we can do it. Well, at least, doesn't seem like a few of the states that were ravaged with COVID early on, like Vico and all that, slowed down a bit. So maybe we'll be close to something like that Trans-Tasman bubble.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty good. Something I did forget to mention before was on the weekend we had the Wild Women on Water surfing event in Victoria. It's probably like the biggest women's surfing event in our state, and it's run by Surf Coast Longboarders and Surfing Victoria. So yeah, we had that on the weekend in some pretty challenging, probably like 2-3, the odd 4-foot set at Point Impossible. For you guys might have surfed there before, but yeah, we had that on the weekend, and it was just like obviously a few days before International Women's Day yesterday, and they always seem to line it up with that date. And I heard you guys when I logged on talking about the film as well. But yeah, it was just an epic celebration of women surfing, and they had a teams event as well with all dress ups. So heaps of teams get in the dress ups. There was a few teams in suits, and yeah, it was pretty awesome. And the surfing on show was amazing as well. And it's been getting better every year. So yeah, that was really good. And yeah, shout out to Surf Coast Longboarders Club for putting that one on. And yeah, there were so many sponsors, I can't remember all of them, but yeah, we get really, really good support for that event.
We were talking earlier about how many girls are out there in the water now. It's just they're outnumbering the guys.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah, I heard you guys talking about the film. I went and saw it last night down my way, and yeah, I was just so impressed by the filmmaking of it and the way they did it, constructed it with the interviews and everything. But yeah, just the story they told. Like, I didn't personally realize how bad the support for women was in the 70s and 80s and even before that. And it's just amazing to see how it's evolutionized with the equal pay now, and I love it. They deserve it.
Cool.
And my local board riders club, Reef Riders at Longreef, Reef Riders Malibu Club, due to popular demand, we've actually set up, and might I just like sort of diverge here that board rider clubs have traditionally got the same format for decades. You know, you just don't change. You turn up on the day, you surf your round, and it's the same format. Doesn't matter who's in it, juniors, old guys, women. In our club, it's traditionally just opens, and there's never been enough of a subcategory to change divisions. But we have had an influx of inquiries and women sort of join the club, and we've now made a dedicated women's division. So they'll surf their own heats, and then the winner of those heats, or you go first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, will surf in the equivalent in the men's open. So we'll have, they get to surf twice. They get to surf their own round, and then they'll surf in the opens round too. And one of the junior women, her name's Jazzy, she actually won the women's. And then speaking of women, here comes Kira. Hello. We're just talking about how amazing you are and how epic it is to see more women in the surf.
Oh, that's awesome. Hold on, let me see if I can get a video quickly.
Oh, there she is.
Hey.
Hey.
I was just saying, one of the junior women who was at the Byron comp last week, she's in my local board riders. And we've just set up a women's division. And not only did she win the open women's, but she went on to come third in the open round as well against some of the pros. We've got some very good surfers at our club, and she's 15 or 16 and slicing and dicing up all the boys. And there's no boundaries.
Cool.
Epic.
Very cool. Sean, how you going?
Yeah, good. Yourself?
Looking very smart.
How good does he look?
It looks
Right,
awesome.
yeah, well.
Right,
You
Sean.
guys all look awesome too. I'm not just picking on someone, but
You look awesome as well. So, been working hard, going to the gym 5 days a week, doing 8 sessions in the gym, swimming most days and that. So it won't be long. I'll be back out there on a board, and hey, yeah, there's going to be a lot of people saying, I wish we would go back to eating pies and ice cream.
How many kilos have you lost, Sean?
Since I started the journey?
Yeah.
55, nearly 56 kilos.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
That's
But
really good.
I do miss eating. So.
That's it.
But it's all good. And I'll tell you what, the other health benefits, like I was a diabetic on a heap of medication. Since before the operation, have not had to have any medication. It's all controlled by diet now. So I'm stoked.
If that's something that we can perhaps have we'll earmark for a future episode about having a talk about surfers' diets and maybe exercise routines. I know Kira and I are pretty passionate about that stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely we can factor that one in. So I think because I've been putting together a whole list of guests coming through for the future. Some are well known, some aren't, but we've got Wonga Perkins said he's keen to come on board the show. We've got Dunny from WA, Dick Smith. Yeah, I don't know whether he does surfboards or electronics, but we'll find out. Yeah, so there's a whole crew. Got Ken and Roxburgh going to come on and have a chat, things like that. So it's all good.
Epic.
Yeah, hey, Cookie, you're a bit quiet there.
Stoked
to have you on board, and you've been doing this trip around, since you got out of the COVID isolation thing with the young fella. And have you got him out on a board yet?
Yeah, well, we went out to First Point up in Noosa 3 days ago, and he hated the water in Cronulla. I couldn't get him to stay in there for more than a few seconds. I think it was just too cold. So when we got him in the water up there at Noosa, he loved it. So we actually were able to sort of hold him there for a bit. I've put him on a board in the pool and that. So we're getting there. Won't be long.
And how good does it feel?
Oh, so good to see him smiling and Mum being so happy and all of us together in the water. One of the best moments of my life, I reckon.
Yeah, good one, mate. So what have you got coming up in the future down your way? Yeah,
so I've been running a little longboard club down there in Cronulla for the last sort of 2 years with the help of some friends, and we're called the Pink Shell Trimmers, and that comes from Cronulla, meaning pink shells. We ride single fins, boys and girls. We've probably got about 70% of us are girls. And we run a little club meet every maybe once or twice every 3 or 4 months, and we're just sort of trying to get everyone together that likes riding single fin longboards and have a good time. So we've ran one maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it went really well. It was a bit raining and whatnot, but we're looking forward to having a few more this year. So that's really exciting, especially for our area that hasn't had much longboarding in the past. But it's really great to see so many people, especially since COVID, getting on a board and surfing and having an interest in longboarding, which has been fantastic. So I've really been enjoying watching everybody on these longboards and surfing some of the waves around Cronulla, which has been fantastic.
Good one. And Chono, what do you got coming up in the near future? Anything you were working on over summer that's coming to fruition, or just stuff you're looking forward to?
Yeah, we've got the World Longboard Tour, which may kick off in September. There's a few events planned for the year. I actually had a couple of people message me recently about if I've heard about any options to travel and what it's going to be like and who we should book with and things like that. So immediately just trying to find out what's going on with overseas events. Obviously, I run my classic car workshop in Brookvale there, Taylor and Both and Bodyworks. Since COVID kicked off, we've been inundated with adventure mobiles. We've always done, rust repairs and restorations, but basically Land Cruisers, camper vans, anything that you can do practical stuff with upgrades, modifications, rust repairs, resprays, all that. So got my work cut out for me with a 6-man team at the body shop, and then balancing professional surfing events. been doing a lot of coaching, a lot of surf mentoring for surfers. Most of my, I guess, clients that I work with are from overseas, so a lot of online stuff. But that's tricky. Obviously, there's no substitute for surfing with someone and trading waves. But there's a couple of local surfers I've been working with, a couple of young up and comers too. So passing on that surf culture, and yeah, certainly developing some new boards too. I've got 2 new models I've been working on with Mick Tavish that'll be released this year. Pretty exciting. A little bit left of center. And yeah, I think the market's ready for it. So surfboards, cars, and surf culture.
Oh, good one. Nathan, I see you're chomping at the bit to go and have some dinner with some family friends. Anything that you've got coming up apart from dinner?
We've got a club Surf Coast Longboarders event this weekend, and then not a heap in terms of the longboarding comps. There's a lot of shortboarding stuff going on, but Rip Curl Pro did get cancelled down here, so that's a big loss. So, and then our state titles, I think it started May, so bit of time off. But yeah, it's like I was sort of saying earlier, it's great to be back and on the show. I'm looking forward to chatting with you guys every week, and thanks for having me on again.
No, good to
Hey,
have you.
Nathan, Weeksy just thinks you're a little bit blurry for next week. So if you could put some spit on the camera lens for us, that'd be great.
Yeah, pretty blurry. Sorry about that, guys. I think it's the lighting in the room.
Mate, well, Weeksy couldn't even get his audio to work, and here he is complaining about a dirty camera lens. Come on.
Maybe I'm just super, super ugly and blurry. But anyway, I'll fix that for next week.
No filter, no filter.
Thanks, guys. Chat to you guys next week. Thanks, heaps.
Okay. And Kira, what's coming up for you in the near future?
So this weekend, the Noosa Malibu Club is holding the Noosa Logger, which is super cool. So 2 weeks ago, had the Byron Bay Surf Festival, and now the Noosa Logger's on. So there's a few events coming up. And then after that, I think Agnes Water, they're holding their events. So that'll be fun to go up there and see Whitey and everybody. And then there's state titles, and then there's something else coming up. So just been working and surfing for that, I guess.
That Surfing Queensland VW surf comp that's coming up, I think the end of the month. Is that state titles or is that something different?
That might be, I think that's the one in a weekend or 2, possibly.
Yeah, a couple of weeks away. It's after, I think entries close on the 15th, and that I did see a flyer about it. And the shortboard, longboard, sups, and everything. So that looks as though it's going to be a pretty big thing up your neck of the woods.
Yeah, and I just bought a new van, so Maddie, I'll have to hit you up with some tips and stuff to do it up.
Honestly, please, because anything I can surf, there's not a lot of info out there for surfers specifically as well, and depending on what uses people have for their vans and their fit outs, us longboarders are a very different breed as well. We obviously have long boards, fins, we have different requirements to other people. So there's cumbersome setups that you do see. I mean, Wiggsy you'd see heaps in the desert, and I know Sean sees a bunch, up your way, and Cookie down south. But longboard racks and, internal storage is really important, and, insulation so a wax doesn't melt. So I've got heaps of advice for you there.
Perfect. I'll hit you up.
Yeah, good one. Wiggsy just texted us and said to say hi to his mate Daniel Rezanen, and he's giving a bit of stick, saying that Weeksy's going to get a couple of barrels for him tomorrow. So obviously Dan's not going to get into the water, but Weeksy is. That made Weeksy happy. His thumbs up. Sort of from where I am, I'm looking forward to getting up to Agnes in the next, we've still got a week to go. So that'll be good. Catch up with a few crew, because it's been a long time between drinks for everyone. What else have we got? I know some sad news last week, the passing of Mel from Mel and the Longboarders. Sort of not too sure of the details, but I did get notified that he'd passed on. So I've got all their music, love them. They travelled to a lot of events. I know they went over to Dunny's Comp in West Australia and wrote a song about it.
Yeah, Mal was an integral part of the Byron surf scene, and with traditional longboarding, and obviously with Mal and the Longboarders, a classic sort of surf band. He was at nearly every comp there for about a decade with his crew, and he was very infectious. He was very passionate, and that comp we had in Byron last week, before I paddled out in the old Mal final, I said, we should all just have a little think about Mal and have a smile on our face, and we did. It was really, really nice, because he was the word stoke, or the eternal grommet gets taken out of context a lot, but he really was. He had a smile, from ear to ear every time, and to see the women's surfing go to where it has now, he was a huge proponent of and fan of women's surfing. So he would have been so stoked last weekend seeing how good the level. And I must add, Kira, some of the surfers last week at the Byron Festival, it was mind-blowing how much the level was risen for women.
Yeah, it's crazy, like, because obviously I think last year a lot of international crew came over for the festival in Byron Bay, and like, just to not even have that international competition, but just the Australian competition, the level is so high, and it's so good being able to compete with like basically an international level at home, like, and the whole field, like from quarters to semis to finals, like all of them were like fully stacked. It was really cool.
And how many unknowns were there, more so in the men's? There was a lot of guys that you might vaguely see on Instagram, but these guys don't have, they don't go to the comps. There hasn't been comps. And I was wondering that we talked about this last year a lot, Sean and Weeksy, where, we're going to see what was going to come out of COVID. But these unknown guys, just full of enthusiasm, just surfing really, really, really well. And, you're introducing yourself in the water. You've never even met them before. They're not even familiar names, and they were surfing great. So it's exciting. There's new blood, and I think the level has risen, and yeah, it was a good comp.
Well, it's good to hear. We're seeing it a lot here. Crew that you sort of don't know who they are. You're watching them out in the water and that, and they come in and you say, "Who's that?" And everyone goes, "No idea," but geez, they can surf. And they're regulars. Only in the last 6 to 12 months they're starting to become familiar, and just about all of them have got great attitudes. That's the other thing. There's not the hostilities in the water there used to be. So, all right. Well, I think that's pretty much, we're going to wind it up. Sorry about the late start and the mix-up. We'll get that right for next week. Our guest next week is Dick Smith from Catalyst Surfboards. A lot of you guys will know him as Wiggy. So he's going to tell us what he's been up to and what the trend is for country surfing, for want of a better description, and how it's all going. Any last words from any of the panel?
Nice to see you all.
It is. We'll have to have a chat and sort out offline how we're going to make it work. Weeksy's sort of going, who knows? I think he's joined some gang, the signals he's giving us. But yeah, he's going.
WA. He's saying WA.
Is that what it is? WA.
Yeah.
All right.
WA has finally decided to leave Australia, and they're
breaking away.
Is that the same, Weeksy? Yeah.
Okay, so we can do a world tour.
That's
it. All right. Hey, thanks everyone for joining us, for putting up with us. If you missed out part of the show tonight or whatever, you can catch us on YouTube. This show has been recorded. It will be on Facebook. It'll be on Instagram, and it'll be on all the good podcast shows within about a week or so. So on behalf of the two Maddies, Kira, Nathan, Weeksy, and myself, have a good week surfing, and we'll catch up with you next week on Tuesday, God willing. Thanks, everyone.
I